It was in the time people used to gather at Mud Lake, they used to build a ceremonial longhouse there called the Wabino. Man always sitting was a leader, a Wabinoan, of this ceremony. This longhouse had one pole up at each end of it. The bark was taken off the poles and one pole had a big boulder beside it. Always sitting sat in the longhouse and beat his drum. He had a type of owl, the kind that eats little birds. He got this owl someplace, skinned it, and mounted it on a little pole. While he was beating and singing to the spirits on his drums, suddenly this owl began to float through the air. It floated right across to the other side, to the pole. These ceremonies used to continue for about a week and they had feasts. They killed lots of meat and prepared it, dried it. Then, when this ceremonial came around, they had plenty of food on hand. Inside the longhouse, on each side of the house, the people sat on blankets but there was a clearing right around the poles where they danced. When they were eating, a man took a dish around and everyone took food from it. They had cut the food into pieces and if one piece dropped to the ground, they didn't like that because the food was sacred. When always sitting was leader, if someone dropped food to the ground, he would beat on his drum to make people look for it. But he had his eyes closed while he beat on the drum, then he would point to the piece of food that had been dropped. The people would find a piece of food way over at the other end of the longhouse. If people couldn't see the food, always sitting would say, "It's over there." Still no one could find it. When this happened he stopped beating the drums, got up, and went over and picked up the food. This is a story I heard about man always sitting when he was leading the longhouse ceremonies.